The time for debate is now over. When it comes to health care reform, President Obama is keeping Washington and the news media in the crosshairs. Let's listen to what the president had to say. He was all fired up talking outside Philadelphia earlier in the day.
Who won the news cycle? That's just how Washington is. They can't help it. They're obsessed with the sport of politics. And so that's the environment in which elected officials are operating. And you've seen all the pundits pontificating and talking over each other on the cable shows, and they're yelling and shouting, and they can't help themselves. That's what they do.
All right, let's discuss what the president is saying with David Gergen, our senior political analyst, and our CNN political contributors, James Carville and Ed Rollins. James, you're smiling like that. In my many years here in Washington, whenever a politician goes after the news media like that, it's a sign of trouble for the politician.
It is, and maybe the president was surprised to find pundits when he came to Washington, but we've been around for quite a while. And I don't know if we're probably not deserving of very much, but I don't know if we deserve all the attention we're getting from the president. But yeah, we're here and been here for quite a while and probably be around for a while.
He doesn't like that cable chatter, Ed, of which you're a part of that cable chatter.
Well, I was in the White House when cable was in its infancy, but it certainly has had an impact. The bottom line, he's the 44th man to serve in the Oval Office. Every single president at some point in time has complained about the media, whether it's pamphlets in the early days of George Washington or whether it's cable television today. I have found that presidents usually have two great days in the White House. One, the day they get inaugurated, and the second day is when they're out having their library dedicated. And everything else between is trench warfare. And I think if things are going well, there's no staff dissent. When things aren't going well, which they're not going well for this president, then there's a lot of staff dissent, and they start a lot of finger pointing. I think this president comes off very whiny, and I think it's beneath him. And I think at the end of the day, he needs to toughen up. He picked the agenda. He ran with the agenda. He's had a year to try and sell his health care. He's not made the case to the American public, and at the end of the day, he can't whine about it.
And David, if there was ever a president who had favorable media attention over the past year or two, it was this president. He really did have a nice honeymoon, as far as I can recall.
He had an extraordinary honeymoon as a candidate in the early days of his presidency. And I think some of the points he's making are well taken. I think he and a number of his aides have been making these points now incessantly for a period of weeks. But I think Ed Rollins has got the bigger point. When you're president, you don't whine about these things. You learn to play the game well, and you master the game so that you get your things done. Everybody inherits a politics in Washington that is imperfect, and this is it's a terrible politics in Washington today. We all agree the political culture is poisonous, but the point of being president is to learn how to master it so it responds to you, and that's what I think they ought to stop talking about these things and just get on with leading.
And I think that's an excellent point, James, because isn't that why there are David Axelrods or Robert Gibbs in the White House, so they can whine about the media coverage? But is it beneath the president to do so?
Well, he's got the North Koreans to deal with. He's got the Iranians to deal with. He's got the Congress to deal with. He's got, unemployment and collapse in housing market. He's got enough to not worry about a bunch of us flapping our jaws. But the truth of the matter is he's in a pretty good position to succeed here. I mean, I think they're awfully close to having the votes on this health care thing, which is going to be utterly historic. And for all of our carping and everything, if he gets this thing to his desk, then we'll cover this thing like you've never seen. I think the economy, a lot of people think, is poised to start creating jobs here before long. And so, look, Mr. President, if you're coming in September and you got health care legislation and the economy is on the mend again, then you'll be doing pretty good. Don't just give it a little time. Maybe this thing will play out your way, but we're not your problem.
Yeah.